Hello, everyone. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. I'm back with another movie review. Okay, so last week I talked about the movie Basic Instinct. I figure I may as well go ahead and get the second one out of the way too. So, yeah, in 2006, a sequel came out based to Basic Instinct, and our good friend Sharon Stone, who at the time I guess was going through something of a career slump, and she wanted to do a movie that could be like a big comeback. And I remember that period because it wasn't just her. There were other actors and actresses too. It seemed like their career was, kind of going through the mud a little bit at that point. I seem to remember Stallone was another actor. There was also somebody else too. But yeah, they decided that what they were going to do was they were going to do movies, do sequels and stuff based off the iconic characters that they've done in previous movies. Well, Sharon Stone decided she needed, a career boost, and so she decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a sequel to Basic Instinct. So she did, and unfortunately, the movie did not do well. Critics bashed it, audiences didn't respond, the movie flopped. Um, Possibly, I think a lot of it just had to do with just the fact that, you figure that, okay, here's the story. The movie begins. You got Catherine Trammell. She's riding around in a car. She's in London now, and she's driving around with this guy. Turns out it's supposed to be her boyfriend. Well, the car crashes, and the boyfriend's dead. She's still alive, but the boyfriend's dead. Cops come. They search the car. They find out she's got drugs in the car, so they decide that they want to see about charging her with killing her boyfriend. So part of the deal is they got to do psychological testing on her. So she ends up, being sent to see a psychologist or psychiatrist named Michael Glass. Kind of funny, Michael Glass. Anyway, and this time our lead man is played by David Morrissey, who now, at the time he wasn't really the most well known. I mean, he's, British actor and everything, but in America, I don't think he was particularly well known at that time. Now he's pretty much worldwide known because I think, pretty much from now on, he's always going to be forever remembered as the governor on The Walking Dead. So anyway, so Catherine, she goes and she sees him, and then it's kind of a little bit of the same pattern as the first movie. She shows that she shows that she's a bad girl. She shows she has a dangerous side. She shows she has no problems, you know, getting into naughty mischief and everything else. And at first, the character Michael, he's very stuffy and he's very, wanting her to behave herself, but at the same time, he's starting to become sexually aroused by her, similar to Nick Curran in the first movie. And as the story progresses, he starts to, get infatuated with her and decides he's gonna, go down that dark, path. I was about ready to say dark rabbit hole, but it's like somebody really would have made a bad joke out of that or a dirty joke out of that. But anyway, so he decides that he wants to, get involved with her, which of course that's always a brilliant idea, especially considering she's a suspect and she's accused of murdering her boyfriend and everything else, and of course it leads to bad consequences. So the problem is like pretty much you got a lot of the rehash of the first movie, and that's one of the big problems of the movie. There's several problems to this movie, that being one of them. Another problem is as much as I hate to say this, now I mean, don't get me wrong, Sharon Stone's a gorgeous woman, but I think that by the time you got to remember, the first one came out in the early '90s, and then the second one came out in 2006. So it's like she did age a few years, not bad. I mean, I still think she looks great in the movie, but I'm sure that there were probably some people who like by the time they saw that movie, they kind of like, yeah, you could tell she's looking older and it's like, kind of like, it's like in the original or the first movie, she was, kind of more like, she would kind of more like, just sexy and young and hot and vibrant and stuff like that. And so that might have had something to do with it. Just the fact that she was older now, she's more kind of like a cougar kind of a thing. That might have played into it, but also, as I said in the first movie, I think that one of the things that really, really helped the first movie and really saved it a lot was just the fact that it was marred by controversy. And this movie, it really feels tame in some ways compared to the, compared to the original. I mean, if you're wanting to know, like, does, Sharon Stone show nudity? Yes, she does. Does she get into sex scenes? Yes, she does. But you got to figure, okay, it's like, for one thing, they definitely made sure to remove the element that Catherine Trammell was bisexual, and that, she had sex with both men and women. Um, to my knowledge, I don't ever recall ever seeing a scene in this movie where Catherine Trammell is seducing a woman or has any kind of, like a lesbian girlfriend like she did in the first movie. So I think, they took away that controversy. And then also the controversy too is just that, they really tried to go for an R rating. And I think, some of the nudity is pretty toned down, and you don't have like the really risque shots. You don't really have that. You don't have that one shot like in the first Basic Instinct. The one thing everybody always talked about was pretty much, forget my language, but pretty much the beaver shot, where, the scene where Catherine Trammell, she goes in, she's being interrogated. She's got, a room full of men. They're all sitting at desks. They're asking her questions. What does she know about the murder and everything else? And at which point she does spread her legs, and basically she flashes, all the detectives in the room. You don't really have that kind of a standout moment. It seems like there's one or two moments where it seems like they try to, see if they can maybe accomplish something like that, but it never gets there. You don't have any of that. Um, but yeah, and then also too, well, another thing that I think ended up being a problem with this movie was the fact that in the first, I keep saying the original, don't I? But in the first Basic Instinct, part of the problem was that Catherine was, you know, it was a murder mystery. You didn't know if she was the killer or not. This here, it's clearly shown that yeah, she is in fact a murderer, and she is dangerous. And I think also too, the fact that the character of Michael Glass, I think the audience doesn't really root for him because the fact that she basically in so many words admits that she kills Nick Coran, Michael Douglas's character from the first movie. In so many words, she's basically saying she killed him and all this kind of stuff. And he still decides he wants to get into a sex relationship with her anyway, which, admittedly, it was a little bit different in this one, in the sense that at the end of the movie, she doesn't kill him, but she does end up driving him insane. And at the end of the movie, it's kind of funny that the psychiatrist ends up in the insane asylum, and she's the one who put him there. But I think that's a lot of it too, is the fact that, the mystery of the movie is gone. And I think that kind of hurt it as well, is the fact you didn't know for sure if she really was a killer and everything. And by this time, by you get to the second movie, yeah, you already know she's a killer. And, so there's no mystery, there's no controversy. Kind of all the things that really help boost the first Basic Instinct movie into being the hit that it became. So I think that kind of hurt it a lot. Then plus two, the fact they shied away from certain things, like, like I said, they shied away from the fact that Catherine Trammell in the first movie is bisexual. In this movie, she just seems like she's pretty straightforward. Like, I don't recall there being a scene where, her romancing another woman or any of that kind of stuff. But so anyway, so yeah, I think that overall that's just the things that kind of really hurt this movie. I mean, really the only thing, yeah, if you're a fan of the first movie, you're going to want to check this out. But also too, it also seems like this movie is a little bit on the boring side. It seems like it kind of plods along a little bit. And also too, just the main character, Michael Glass, he's not particularly interesting. He's very uptight. He's very stuffy. He doesn't really have like any of these demons inside him the way that, Michael Douglas's character in the first movie, he doesn't have any of those demons like he has. So, it's like, it's not as interesting to see Catherine, use that against him and basically use that to get him snare him into her web, if you want to say that. But, so it's in a way, it kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense that he would end up falling for her. It just seems kind of crazy. But so anyway, so yeah, that's going to be kind of a short video, but there's just not really much more to say about it. It was, it's watchable, but like I said, basically the only real reason you want to see it is just if you want to see a mature Sharon Stone nude. That's pretty much about all you're going to get out of it. But just in terms of being a good movie, not really. The story, kind of is a little bit on the ridiculous side. the characters kind of do some really dumb shit that doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, though, if you're a fan of the first movie, you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. Now you can get the DVDs for pretty much nothing. So if you want to do that, you can do that. But anyway, that's pretty much about it. So like I say, if you just want to see MILF Sharon Stone, that's pretty much about your only reason to watch this. But just the first movie, I could definitely say that like I said in my last review, the first movie, yeah, because it is one of the more it's one of the more famous, one of the more well-known erotic thrillers and stuff, and in some ways might have contributed to starting the erotic thriller craze in the 90s. It's like, yeah, you might want to go ahead and get the first movie. This one here, I'm not really sure if you need it, but if I would say, yeah, if you're a completist and you decide you want it, go ahead and get it for that. But that's pretty much about it. So yeah, that's pretty much about all I can say about it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And yeah, this is Sinema77, Horror Cult Film Lover, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.